If you're going to spend over $1,000 on a brand new smartphone, you might as well go the extra mile and buy a whole bunch of cool, fun accessories for this thing as well. In this video, I'm going to go over my favorite accessories for the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Of course, there will be affiliate links to everything I talk about in the description down below. Let's start things off, though, with I think the most logical thing that most people do buy for their very large and somewhat slippery smartphones, and that is with cases. Now, as I go through these cases and everything on this list, I either have this exact item and have used it, or I've used the exact same case, for instance, on another device. So I do have some experience with everything I'm going to talk about here on this list. Like I said, starting off with cases, we're going to start off with the Spigen Ultra Hybrid S. Now, this is a clear case with a kickstand on the back of it for $19.99. Not too bad at all. And if we jump to the overhead camera, you can see this case here. It's kind of got a flexible material, but like I said, the kickstand is pretty solid. It does a good job of holding the phone up. I'm not going to be demoing all of these cases on the device because the shape of this device makes it so that taking the cases off is often really, really annoying. So I'm just not going to do that to myself. But you can see here pretty well what we're getting at. This is a solid case for $20. If we move to the next one here, we have the Spigen Tough Armor. Now, this is one that has a similar kickstand that is a little bit smaller, but this thing does add a little bit of additional protection up top with a kind of more rubberized texture. I used this case, I believe, on my OnePlus 7 Pro back in the day, the exact same case for that device. It is $20.99, so a couple dollars more, potentially some additional protection. Next up, we have the Grip silicone case, which is a pretty decent one as well. It kind of has this like soft, grippy kind of texture to it. I also want to show you on the inside here, it's almost got like a felt texture, which is going to help prevent scratches on the back of the device if anything does happen to get inside there. And like you can see, there's that grip you can hold on to the device. Personally, I think this one's okay. It doesn't grip quite as tightly as I'd like for it to, but I think that it does a pretty decent job. Now, this case, I believe, is, yeah, $39.99. So a little bit on the pricier side, but it is an official Samsung product, and I think it's pretty solid overall. We also have the Gadget Clear case, which is $44.99. Now, this one's a little bit odd, okay? If I go back to this camera again, it is similar to the first case we looked at, but it's less flexible, okay? It's more of a hard plastic. But you have this really neat thing here that acts as both a grip and a kickstand. Now, what's interesting about this is you can actually slide this bit up and rotate this and remove it. So if you ever need maybe to put it in a tripod or something like that, this is quite a large thing here attached to it. It sticks out pretty far. You can actually remove this very easily. So it's almost like a pop socket that is removable. I actually do really like this case a lot because that grip just feels really good. It's really well positioned as well. It is a bit of a pain to put on and remove because it is a harder plastic, but still, I really like this one. Samsung also has their official leather case for $50. This is one I don't have here to directly show you, but they do feel very nice. They're quite premium, and if you're going to go the extra premium route, leather is a pretty good way to go. Switching gears back to Amazon here, the Caseborne cases. These were actually just sent out to me a few days ago, and for $20, you're really going to be hard-pressed to find a better durable case for this device. I've actually already done a full video on these. They've got a really nice, robust-feeling kickstand back there. They've got this padded material inside that is kind of squishy and grippy feeling, very soft. And these things are, I believe, up to a military spec. I think it says here on the screen. Yeah, mil standard 810G, tested to survive up to 21 feet, drop test with raised edges to protect the camera system. Very, very cool, rugged case. And again, $19.99 on Amazon. And maybe my favorite case of the bunch is another one from Caseborne, but it's kind of in their new thing they're doing called Thinborne. This is an aramid fiber case, and it is $40. It is incredibly lightweight, very, very thin, but it's going to do a good job of protecting the device. But the coolest thing about this case is that it actually is MagSafe compatible. So you can use something like this Spigen O-Mag, which I will have linked in the description as well, and pop this thing on the back just like that, and it is going to hold on very, very tightly. And now you have a really nice grip you can use, a kickstand you can use. And yes, other like MagSafe charging things are going to work just fine on this case as well. I love this. If you want to get something for cheaper though, you could try this case from Spigen, which does also have a MagSafe ring in it. Now, another really simple way to protect this device without adding some bulk with the case is to use something like a D-brand skin, and they have some really nice looking ones. I've used D-brand skins a million times over the years. They even have leather skins for $35. You could also save some money by going with Soapy Guard, $10 instead. Well, you can see here most of these are in the mid-20s, so you could save some money. They're a little bit thinner, but like I said, they are a bit cheaper. As for charging the device, I think that I have a handful of good options here. So this is one that I've been using for a good while now. Ugreen has this 45 watt, which by the way is as fast as this phone is going to charge. This 45 watt charger for $39.99. You can charge 2 devices from it at once, and it is, I believe, yes, gallium nitride, which is a new technology which allows these really fast chargers to be very, very small. And this thing is tiny. It's actually plugged in underneath my desk, and I don't feel like I'm plugging it and unplugging everything from it, so I'm not going to. But it's really, really small, and it's really, really good. This is the wireless charger that has sat next to my couch since March of 2021. It wirelessly charges at 10 watts, which isn't as fast as what it can do. It can do up to 15, but for $18.99, pretty solid. This is a similar thing I've been using for years. It does 10 watts of charging as well, but it is also a stand, pretty solid. We do have this option from Anker, which is a bit more expensive, but it does apparently jump up to 15 watts of charging. And then, of course, the Samsung options, which are a lot more expensive, $40, as well as, what is this one here, $89 to charge a bunch of things. I've not tested these myself, but I'm going to throw them in there just because some people on charging stuff only want to use the official Samsung stuff, so there you go. Now, perhaps you're someone that likes to utilize Samsung's DeX interface. Well, a really easy way to sort of up your game in terms of DeX is to use something like a USB-C hub. We have this one here from Anker for $34.99. It says it can do 100 watt power delivery, 4K. It's got USB-C, it's got USB-A, it's got HDMI, it's got card readers, and it is one that I have used for a good long while now. It is well made, and it's just a solid USB-C hub for $34.99. We also have this slimmer one from Ugreen, which does share a lot of the same functionality. This one also has, very, very cool, an Ethernet cable to speed that kind of stuff up. This one is going to run you $49.99, but there is yet another option that I really like also. This one is meant for tablets, but it will work on this just as well. It is $69. It is by a company called BuyEasy, but it has a ton of stuff to like. First off, it's a stand, so you can have this thing sitting up here as like a second screen via your phone. It has a very, very stiff hinge. Your phone is definitely not going anywhere. We have some card readers, power delivery, HDMI out, USB-A, and then a headphone jack there on the side. Rubberized bottom, rubberized in here as well. Again, to make sure nothing's going anywhere. Really, really well made and solid. I've used this thing off and on for a long time, and it is awesome. Now, I also did just post a review of this UPerfect lap dock. If you want to know more about that, there will be a link in the description down below to see that full review. It's a little bit on the pricey side. There are some coupon codes to be used, but it is a really great way to use Samsung DeX. And we're actually going to continue digging into cool accessories for DeX for the next little bit. So this is one that I've also been using for a long time. It is a portable aluminum tri-folding Bluetooth keyboard for $49.96. It's a little bit pricey, but trust me when I tell you, the thing feels nice. It is incredibly small and compact and does a really nice job. I've had one of these things for years, and I barely ever have to charge it. It's really, really nice. This is a similar, cheaper option that actually does have a trackpad there on the side. It's only $29, so that might be a good one to give a shot as well. Microsoft has their own bifolding Bluetooth keyboard that looks pretty decent. I don't know how I feel about that big gap in the middle, but it's another option for $54 if you like the brand. In terms of tiny little keyboards, I'm a big fan of the Microsoft Arc mouse. Okay, this thing is a solid little mouse, but when you are done using it, it gets very, very small. And if you're using your phone for DeX and you've got your mouse and keyboard set up, and that's it, that's your whole portable mouse and keyboard setup, that's pretty cool. Although Logitech does have their Pebble mouse, which is also very small. It looks like they're sold out on this listing, but somewhere in the mid-20s is probably a good place to be able to find those. I'll try to update the link for this so we'll actually have them available. For $10, it's really hard to beat this really simple, basic stand. It can be quite small. And again, if you're going with this whole portable DeX thing, add this to your list of things to throw in a bag. And again, you're staying pretty small. Again, for $10, I've used this thing for years. A USB-C to HDMI cable is also a good thing to potentially try to use. This is a really solid one. It's a braided cable. It's held up really well for me for $18. And then if you're using one of these docks that have an HDMI cable, don't go to Best Buy and spend $50 on a gold-plated HDMI. It's digital. It either is on or it's off. This is an analog. It doesn't improve the picture quality. Just get one for $9, Power Bear, whatever. Just buy one from Amazon. They're going to be fine. What about if you want to utilize the raw power of this thing to do some gaming? Well, there's some really nice ways to do this. The first one to talk about here is the GameSir X2. Now, I know that there are versions of this controller that have USB-C in here, but I actually do prefer the Bluetooth ones just because they are a bit more universal. This thing is $53.99 on Amazon. And as you can see there, it does fit over this device just barely. The sticks are nice and big, which makes it pretty good for first-person shooters. The buttons are clicky. It's a pretty solid feeling controller. Again, $53.99. We do have another option, though. If you want something that is a bit more Xbox related, the sticks aren't quite as big, so they don't have quite as much travel as on the one from GameSir. This one is called the Rig Nacon MGX, and it is $79, but it does feel super premium, and it is perfect for streaming Game Pass and games like that as well. Perhaps you're going to utilize something like this lovely kickstand, though, and you just want to use a separate controller. Well, you have the 8BitDo SN30 Pro, or in this case, the N30 Pro, somewhere in the $40 range for these for the most part. Really, really solid. And then something that's incredibly pocketable and easy to drop, the 8BitDo 02 for $20. You could even put it on a keychain. It is surprisingly good. Play some Mario, some Pokemon, whatever. Gonna have a lot of fun with these. What about accessories for use inside the car? Of course, not while you're driving, but for sure when you're in your car. This is the mount that I've been using for coming up on 3 years now. This one actually locks into the CD tray, and it's meant for tablets, right? So it's going to be gripping top and bottom on this thing, but you can customize the size a little bit of it, and I find that it still does a really good job even with this phone. I'm someone who switches between a Z Fold 4, Surface Duo 2, phones like this, and it always fits every device that I try to use, and for $17, it's been absolutely killer. Now, if you want one that's specifically for phones, I got this one for my wife to use because she doesn't use tablet-y phones, and for, again, $10.99, it's been really, really good. As for charging, I'm not going to spend much more than this. $11. This thing does 30 watts. I've been using it again since 2021. Actually, I've had it longer than that because this is the one that I bought for my wife to use. I've been using mine even longer. It's held up just fine. Charges the phone well. Now, I know that there are plenty of other, car docks and chargers out there that I could probably recommend, but these are the ones that I use. So for wireless earbuds, which are an important accessory for many of us, I have 4 options to recommend to you. First off is going to be the Galaxy Buds 2 Pros. These are the ones that I do daily drive when I'm using any Samsung device. They are phenomenal in terms of their audio quality. Now, they are not particularly cheap, right? They start off at $229.99. Look for these things on sale. Wait for those sales to hit. But man, they are really, really good. Now, my wife uses the Buds 2, which are $149. They don't quite sound as good, but they are very, very solid. I also do really enjoy the Sony Link Buds S. These are my non-Samsung phone when I'm daily driving something else. These are the ones I go to. They're $148 right now, which is a really solid price. Love these earbuds a lot. And on the cheaper budget-minded side, for $59.99, you may not know the brand Soundpeats, but you should check these things out. They sound way better than you're ever going to imagine that they do. And again, for $60, they're pretty killer. There you go, guys. We just covered over 40 accessories for the S23 Ultra, and we did it in right about 15 minutes. I hope this was an enjoyable video, and maybe will help you kit out your brand new, very premium, very nice phone. Use those links down below to help support the channel in a very direct way. Guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.